So here we are, prelim final preview. Let's get into it. I cannot believe that after all of this year, this is where we are right now. 1 win away from playing off in the grand final, 2 wins away from our 16th premiership. It's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. This is probably going to be the hardest game that we play all year. Now, Sydney Swans, they're the Sydney Swans. They've been doing it quietly. If you followed our chat yesterday with the legendary Nick Davis, Sydney guys can go to the cafe, ride their scooters around. No one bothers them. They're out of the media bubble. That means that there hasn't been a lot of talk about Sydney, but in my first preview for this, the first finals prediction, I said, unbiasedly, if Collingwood weren't going to be in it, it would be a Geelong-Sydney grand final. That's how highly I rated Sydney. So, it is going to be a hard game, especially up in the SCG. We versed them a couple of weeks ago. We absolutely got smashed. Sydney are the number 1 pressure comp in the competition. Who's number 2? We are. So it is going to be a game full of pressure, full of tackling, full of turnovers, full of clangers. And that's exactly what Sydney did when we played them a couple of weeks ago. Thankfully, when we played them, it wasn't at the start of the year. It wasn't like rounds 4, 5, or 6. It was round 22. So a few weeks out from finals, we got a sense of a very good Sydney Swans outfit and how would our stuff stack up. We went up there with 11 wins in a row. They applied pressure in that first quarter. Their pressure was off the charts, and that set up their win basically from that first quarter. Everyone was making mistakes. The thing with high pressure is not only is it getting caught holding the ball or whatever it may be, but it's perceived pressure. So if you see everyone getting tackled, hot potato, Pendlebury was stuffing up, everyone's not getting marks. Nick Dacos was clamped down by Ryan Clark, so I assume that's going to happen again. He didn't get a touch till like the 22nd or 23rd or something minute of that first quarter. He has the footy IQ to set us up from half back. You clamp that down, you lose that IQ, you lose that run and carry off half back. That's when Sydney will get you, and that's what they did when we versed them a few weeks ago. It is going to be a manic sort of game. We know all the talk about how the SCG is a little bit smaller, it's a little bit curvier here, there, and everywhere. And Craig McRae said that he just coached it wrong when we versed them last time. Thankfully, now we've had a week to train on the AIA Centre ground with the new grounds markings of the SCG, so it's going to be a little bit tighter. The thing with the SCG is it's a centre clearance game. If you can get it out of the centre, you're literally a kick away or kicking a bit away from, Buddy Franklin or Brody Mychek marking it in the full forward line. So it really helps that Jordan De Goey will be there this time, smashing it. So we need his centre clearances. Last time, you remember, he was a late out. Josh Dacos went in the middle. He had 7 centre clearances, which was very nice, but that big body, now without Taylor Adams as well. Last time we played Sydney, there was no Taylor Adams, and a flu ripped through the AIA Centre. Not using those as excuses, but you can see why we were a little bit down and why that 27-point loss happened. But not to discredit Sydney, they are a fantastic, fantastic side, and is going to take every little bit in us that we can to win this game. We'll go to Sydney not as favourites, of course, because Sydney had that week rest. Does that help? Does that hinder? I was watching AFL 360 yesterday, and 20% of the team, since that pre-finals bye was introduced, only 20% of the teams that had won their qualifying went on to book a place in the grand final. Sorry, 20% of teams both teams that have won, 20% of both teams that have won the first qualifying have faced off each other in a grand final as well. So is it telling, one game in 25 days or whatever it is? It's 2022 though, so these teams will know, how hard to go at training, etc., etc. But I remember Craig McRae saying a few weeks ago before finals that he doesn't mind the pre-finals bye, but he would love to just keep playing. And that's what we've done. Lost to Geelong by 6 points, played the next week, obviously smashed Fremantle, and now we're playing the next week and then possibly the week after. How is this game won and lost for us, Collingwood? Again, pressure, but it's being smarter with the ball. How many times earlier on in the season, or around 22 in the season, were we kicking it just in hope, and that's because of Sydney's perceived pressure and their actual pressure, both McCartan brothers are plunking it, or we're pushing too far up and they're getting us on the counter attack when we have a weird bungle turnover because of their pressure. it will be the team that rides the pressure the best that wins this game. Then that's all it's really going to come down to. Yes, Brady Franklin 3 goals when we played them last week, or not last week, the week before against Melbourne. Franklin and McDonald kicked 0 goals each. So Franklin's probably due for a big game. Darcy Moore, Jeremy Howe, Brayden Maynard, they all got their work cut out for them. But it's the guys like Isaac Heaney that are going to pop up. It's the guys like Tom Papley that are going to pop up. It's these smaller guys where, Isaac Quaynor has to be on his game. Brayden Maynard has to be on his game. Johnny Noble. All these guys that aren't the big full-backs have to be on their game, because as soon as you let Papley in the game, we saw what happened with Melbourne, they get dangerous. As soon as you let Isaac Heaney free in the goal square like we were doing, they get dangerous. So it's these other sort of forward players that they have where we can't just have 3 or 4 go up against Franklin or whatever, because they're just so quick on the ground. The thing Collingwood like to do is run, run, run. You saw it last week where it was just a frantic first quarter of football where we would play on at all costs, run. Darcy Moore's running. SCG doesn't typically allow you to do a lot of that. So it's going to be not a stop, slow start game, but if it's going to be fast football, it has to be smart, fast football. It's not just kind of get it and bomb it along and see where you go. We have to go through that Sydney pressure. And I keep saying pressure. And that's exactly what it is. It's that Swans pressure that is, if anything, is going to engulf us, or we're going to persist through it. And I honestly think we can persist through it. Now, everyone's going up to the SCG. I think there's 48,000 tickets all sold out. Me, Dad, and my brother now, thankfully, we are driving up to Sydney. The Magpie Army will be out in full force. I know people taking trains. I know people driving. I know people paying that expensive tickets for flying. It is going to be packed. Jeremy Howe, Nick Davis was saying it. Craig McRae, Darcy Moore was saying it. The Magpie Army is like the 23rd player. We give them the role, we give them the chance. I don't care if the chance in the first quarter, I don't care if the chance in the last quarter. They need to know we're here. Sydney need to know that we're here. I reckon it's going to be 50-50 at the SCG with Swans and Collingwood supporters. I don't think it's going to be anything like the Fremantle Collingwood, where we had about 88,000 Collingwood supporters and 2,000 Fremantle supporters. I think it's going to be pretty even split. But we know that even if it's not, we are loud. We need to get loud. If you're going, you need to get loud, because we need to cheer the boys on. It is the hardest game that we have played and the most on the line that we have played up until this point of the season. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. The butterflies are starting to eat away at me a lot. Like I can feel them building now as I make this video. But I'm excited. It's huge. It's a prelim, a grand final on the line. Like, we've won our first final, amazing. But now you just don't want to stop. We are we're an insane football team. It's almost poetic that we got here, how we got here. It's a season of miracles for this Collingwood side. And, let's ride this until a grand final. The one thing I liked about this side at the moment is that we keep getting better. The Geelong game, we only lost by 6 points. We could have won that one, but we had a lot of learnings to take out of that, put them into the Fremantle game. From that Fremantle game, we have a lot more learnings that we can take out of, and we're getting better. We're growing. No ceiling on us, and that's why I think Collingwood are going to beat Sydney on the weekend. Jordan De Goey back is a huge boost. All our forwards are firing now. I think we'll bring in Kruger as well. Josh Carmichael out. I think we'll bring in Kruger. Maybe Will Hoskin Elliott as the sub. But I think we're going to win by 15 points. Oh, man. Can you believe it? Can you believe that? We're a win away from a grand final. I can't believe it. Whatever happens, it has been one hell of a ride. And let's just keep going. Let's just go up to Sydney, smash these Swans, and see each other in a grand final. But let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going to Sydney? How are you getting there? Do you think we're going to win? Do you think we're going to lose? Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.